Hi, Mike. I'm here in the wasteland. We are a couple hundred years past the nuclear apocalypse, and I'm still waiting to see who the Bears are going to draft. They've been on the clock since December 31st. Producer. That's a Fallout reference. Red Rocket, Truck Stop, Fallout 4, and it plays a part in the Fallout TV series. Have you seen that yet?
No, I'm not big on movies or TV at all.
Highly recommended. I've watched it twice already. Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Doing an excellent, Biggs. How you doing,
Good.
pal?
I'm great. Welcome to the Fantasy Forecast, you guys, on the Fantasy Football Advice Network. He is Grindberg. I am Biggs. We are your hosts, and we're here to give you some fantasy football advice. And today we're going to be talking about wide receivers.
Yeah, we are, and we're going to talk about wide receiver ADP values. We both have got a guy that each have a guy that we want to showcase today and talk a little bit about their draft position, there's average draft position, and talk about how much of a value these guys are going to be when draft season comes up in August and we're drafting in redraft leagues, and these guys are going to be coming up the board, and you're going to see them hit that board, and you're going to be like, major value, I just sniped them, and he's going to be my wide receiver 2, and I got him at a wide receiver 3 price, and so on and so forth. So we're going to be giving you gems all through this offseason. And we gave you a couple last time. We gave you the quarterbacks. I projected Caleb Williams as a top 10 quarterback. Biggs also projected Jared Goff at right around the 10 mark, so on the verge of a top 10 finish, and right around a quarterback 1. So this week, Biggs, we've got wide receivers, and I know I like a couple of, this will be, I guess, their third-year wide receivers we have. We got a couple of third-year wide receivers this show, do we not? And they were
No,
both drafted in the first round. No, we don't.
no, mine is a fourth year,
Oh, okay. Fair enough. He's got a
or
fourth.
fifth year. Fifth is he fifth year? He might be a fifth year already.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's a bit different than what I saw earlier. So we've got a fifth-year wide receiver for you. Tell us
Yeah.
about him. Who is
Okay,
it?
well. First of all, I want to get some inside baseball for our viewers out there. While you're listening, go ahead and like, subscribe, comment, and share. Hit the bell so you get our episodes when they drop. So you're sitting there and you're watching and you're like, what ADP value? How do you figure that out? And I'll tell you, what you want to do is you want to find guys who maybe they had a down year, maybe they had an injury year, maybe there was a situation change with their offensive coordinator or their quarterback, that kind of thing. Maybe they got an upgrade, maybe they got a downgrade. That's what we're looking for when we're scouring these lists of ADPs and doing our mock drafts and seeing where guys are going. My wide receiver ADP value, that through the scouring and all of the research that I've done, is Cincinnati Bengals wide receiver T. Higgins. Now, before last season, T. Higgins finished better than the wide receiver 30 every single season for the first 3 years of his career, averaging 109 targets. He missed 6 games in 2023, and Joe Burrow got hurt. It was NorCal legend Jake Browning, shout out Folsom, who kind of filled in for the second half of the season. And, Higgins had a nice couple games. But despite all the turmoil, Higgins still had 4 top 10 finishes in 2023. Has always worked as the second option in the Bengals' air attack. And if you have a top 10 finish in a specific week, and it's out of a value spot like your flex or otherwise, that's definitely going to help you win. And that's what we're doing. We're building champions. Now in 2024, Joe Burrow is going to be back, but not only that, but Dan Pitcher was promoted to the offensive coordinator position after being the quarterback's coach for 4 years. which means that he's been in the system. He's been working with Joe Burrow. There will be continuity with the offense, even though there was a switch of the offensive coordinator position. They're basically going to be running the same system. Their philosophy is going to be the same. The play design will be the same. And like I said, Higgins has always been the second wide receiver option in that system. And his productive seasons, his wide receiver 20 finishes, those have come in that system with Joe Burrow. So right now he's being drafted at ADP 49, wide receiver 28. And don't forget, he's playing on a franchise tag. He's in a prove it year. The only thing that will be preventing T. Higgins from having a top 24 finish again will be injury, whether that's to himself or to Burrow, whatever. But we know the injuries aren't predictable, so we don't like to account for them when we're looking at our draft prospects, right? So basically, he's going to exceed his ADP by at least a round, which is you can think of it as a tier. Mm-hmm. I'm more than comfortable if I'm doing an anchor running back draft build or a zero running back draft build, drafting Higgins in the 4th round as my wide receiver 3 or my flex, and expecting to get wide receiver 2 production out of him. Meaning, if he's that 4th or third wide receiver or flex position, and he's getting wide receiver 2 numbers, that means that my other guys ahead of him are doing even better, and I'm making a champion.
You are building champions with T. Higgins as your wide receiver 2 or 3 in your lineup.
Actually, your wide receiver flex
works perfect. Even better. That's where you want those guys who have shown in the past to have wide receiver 1 range upside. Obviously, injury has been plagued in the past, but like Biggs had mentioned, you can't predict that. So, and it's kind of baked into his price a little bit here too as well. So when you think about it, if he has a full season with a Joe Burrow that's healthy, he's a 1,200-yard wide receiver. Give him, 6 to 8 touchdowns easily, I would say, and that's being probably less aggressive when you think about a full season with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. That offense can be electric, right? We saw it 2 years ago, and they could be back healthy. So, people are forgetting what the Bengals did a couple of years ago, making that push, and they still have that core around. So I could see that being a very good possibility there, Big. So for me, I've got a 3rd-year wide receiver that is now in a situation that has been very, very, very good for him this offseason. And one of the most impactful moves this offseason was Kirk Cousins to the Atlanta Falcons. But Grindberg, this is a wide receiver show. Why are you
But Grindberg, this is a wide receiver show. Why are you talking about a quarterback?
Because the quarterback makes the pieces around him better. And, it doesn't really move the needle for Kirk Cousins. You can expect the same old numbers from him. I said it in the past. I'm expecting 4,500 yards, 30 touchdowns around the QB 12 finish. But this will be a huge upgrade. And this will be a huge upgrade for Drake London. Okay. There will be.
I thought you were going to say Darnell Mooney.
Well, yeah, exactly. Darnell Mooney could also be a good situation as well. But I'm talking about an extra 700 yards passing, an extra 14 touchdowns up in the air. If you think about the numbers that Kirk Cousins has done in the past, and I don't think that it's far off of him producing with the offense that could be around him. Drake's London's usage numbers were still pretty good in 2023. He did earn a 23% target share. That led to 69 catches, 900 yards, and just 2 touchdowns. So the lack of touchdowns slid him to the wide receiver 39 overall. He's being drafted right now as the wide receiver 17. So that's a pretty big gap there. But here's what I'm talking about. The Atlanta Falcons selected London with the 8th overall pick, the number 1 wide receiver off the board in the 2022 draft. It was certainly a less ideal start to his career, finishing as the wide receiver 31 and the wide receiver 37 in his 2 years in the league. But that was more of the fault plagued by terrible quarterback play and not the best play calling when you think of what Arthur Smith did to that offense last year. Despite poor quarterback play, London has shown that he has the talent to become a true wide receiver one. Like many wide receivers, London's ceiling has not even been close to be realized due to the bad quarterback play. In comes my chains, Kirk Cousins. London is going to be set up with a huge quarterback upgrade after signing that 4-year deal. He will get easily a 25% target share, in my opinion, which is a massive season in the works. The stars are aligning for the soon-to-be 23-year-old. Expect him to have a career high across the board in receptions, yards, and touchdowns with Cousins at the helm. London could easily produce a top 12 finish with upside.
Whoa.
That's what I'm saying. London to the moon. This puts Drake London in wide receiver one range for me. I can see London going for 85 receptions, 1,300 yards, 7 touchdowns. That would put London in the top 10 at the position, crushing his ADP of wide receiver 17. Lock it in. Drake London crushing in 2024.
Do you agree, Frito? Do you agree? I think he agrees. I agree. I love Drake London. Draft capital is a huge thing, something that people kind of tend to overlook, and it is one of the stickiest corollaries for fantasy production from wide receiver position. Being taken as the first wide receiver doesn't matter if the draft is deep or thin or whatever. Drake London has that first round capital. He's going to be a focus of the Falcons offense, and and the Falcons are always going to be a boot having Drake London as their wide receiver one, and with a quarterback who can produce as opposed to a Desmond Ridder or a Marcus Mariota. Wheels up for Drake London, Kyle Pitts. It's going to be and Bijan Robinson too. Whoever is catching passes in that Falcons offense is gonna have a better year this year than they have in the past couple.
Yeah, agreed. They're all going to thrive, and I think they got a shot at winning that division. What do you think? Do you think they get past the Bucks this year?
I don't think anybody gets past Derek Carr and the Saints. What are you talking about? Saints were my Super Bowl pick last year, so I'm riding high with them again.
That's awesome. All right. Well, the wide receiver rooms are going to switch up quite a bit in the next, 24 to 48 hours. We're going to see a lot of movement there. And some of these wide receivers that we talked about, I think are going to be pretty secure in their roles, okay? Whereas a lot of other situations around the league are going to change drastically with these new rookie wide receivers coming in. There's about 6 or 7 of them that could garner first-round draft capital, which would immediately put them in wide receiver 2 ranges in lineups right away out of the hop. So love what I see there. Hoping to see a lot of excitement coming up on Thursday night. And what are you doing for the draft there, Biggs? Tell people what you're doing and where they can find you and your stuff, brother.
I'm probably going to be in my cups a little bit, having some sips. Got some adult beverages on tap. And also, I'm going to be co-hosting, also, I have co-hosted with you the Undroppables Live Draft Ganza. I hope none of you missed it because it was super fun. I can tell you that much. We had a lot of fun tomorrow night. You can find me at Big Boned FFB, like in fantasy football. F as in Frank, F as in Frank, B as in Bowie. You can find him at F as in Frank, F as in Frank, Canuck with 1 N 99. Shout out Wayne Gretzky, the great one. Almost as great as number 66, Mario Lemieux. Go ahead and like this video. Subscribe to the Fantasy Football Advice Network if you're new to the channel. Give us some comments. Give us some feedback. Let us know what you like. Also, let us know what you don't like, because we're open to any kind of constructive criticism or whatever. Just don't be an ass. Hit the bell so you get notified when our next episode comes out. I have a feeling we're going to be talking about running backs, and I have a spoiler. Mine's a rookie, so make sure that you get in on that video. We love you. We hope you win. I hope you win. We're making champions. That's what we're doing here. Follow us all summer long to smash your drafts leading up to your ESPN championships, your CBS Sports championships, your Yahoo Sports championships, your NFL.com championships, in your home leagues, in your work leagues, in the public leagues, whatever. Follow us. Listen to us, take what we say and create your own little ways to get that edge and make your own champions. And catch us at in Canton, Ohio, at the Fantasy Football Expo in August. We'd love to say hi and press some flesh, as it were.
Yeah. And also, we're going to be talking about the draft in future shows in the next week or so, giving you a complete rundown on guys we think are going to be in really good landing spots after the draft. So we'll stay tuned to that. So for all of us on the Fantasy Football Advice Network, we hope you win. Peace out.
Let's just say lots of big things are coming. And
Huge. Boom.